Hi everybody, this video will be a short and sweet explanation on the HTML5 canvas element. I won't go into detail about every aspect of the canvas element. Instead, I'm going to go over the basics that provide enough knowledge for somebody who's never used the canvas element before to get started, and I'll provide some links for further information if you're looking to get really in depth with this canvas element. The canvas element is a HTML5 element that lets you draw pixels and shapes onto an area. It produces raster graphics, which means it's a grid of pixels with no real knowledge of the shapes inside it. It's a bitmap, just like the image formats you're used to, a bunch of pixels, each with different levels of red, green, and blue, changing the color that you see. It's different to SVG, which is another HTML5 element that you can start using. SVG elements draw lines and shapes onto an area, and they're stored as the actual dimensions and positions of those shapes. In Canvas, that isn't the case. Everything is stored as pixels. Browser compatibility is quite good these days. If we go to Can I Use? It's basically supported by most modern browsers, apart from older versions of Internet Explorer before Internet Explorer 9. But there is actually a JavaScript fallback that you can use for older versions of Internet Explorer. I'm not sure how good this is with performance-intensive applications, but feel free to give it a go if you are looking for older versions of Internet Explorer support. The canvas element is very simple to use. It's one line of markup that looks like this. We give it an ID, and the ID is used so that JavaScript can refer to our canvas element and draw on it. Everything that you draw on a canvas element, you're going to be drawing using JavaScript. So make sure you've got a unique ID right here. I've given it a class name as I do all of my styling through classes, so I've given it a class name of OurSimpleCanvas. In this demo, I'm only drawing a border around it just so you can see where the canvas starts and where it finishes. And then we've got a height and width of 300 pixels, which is pretty self-explanatory, really. In our JavaScript, we then assign the canvas tag through the ID we gave it to a variable called canvas. From here, this bit will look very new if you've never used canvas before. We're getting the context of the canvas element. Context is a new idea for anybody who is completely new to the canvas environment. Every canvas element has a drawing context, which is what you use to draw lines and shapes onto the element. At the moment, developers stick to the commonly used 2D context. There is a 3D context of sorts called WebGL, which is an API to do 3D rendering. However, not all browsers support this just yet, so we're not going to go there. We're going to keep it ultra simple and stick to the 2D context. If you're interested in doing 3D, you can still do 3D using the 2D context, but you'll need to use JavaScript libraries instead, like 3JS, to draw in 3D. In our demo, the most simple thing I could think of to show how to use the canvas element is creating one simple rectangle, which starts at a position of X, 25 pixels across, position Y, 25 pixels down, and then it's got a height and width of 25 pixels. And that's what you see here. We've got our 25 pixel by 25 pixel square that's positioned 25 pixels across and 25 pixels down. The easiest and fastest way I've found to get a handle on the canvas element and what each function does is to go into the console on your browser and just start throwing in functions to see what happens. The way I do this in Chrome is just to right-click, inspect elements, and go to the console tab. From here we can put on any functions that we like, really, and see what happens on the canvas. Using the 2D context we already had set up, let's create our rectangle again. So that's our 25 pixel wide, 25 pixel high square. If we wanted to start making more, we could move to 50 pixels across, 50 pixels down, and then we'll make one which is 50 pixels wide, 50 pixels high. If we want it to be a rectangle, we could reset it like so. And that'll create one 100 pixels across, 100 pixels down, and the width is 100 pixels, height is 50 pixels. That's all relatively simple. But what if we wanted to start again? The trick to do that is canvas width equals canvas width to reset the width of the canvas and clear everything off. So if you ever want to get rid of what's on the canvas and start again, canvas.width equals canvas.width. From there, I'm going to show you how to draw a line. So lines in Canvas are relatively simple. Context.beginPath starts a path which is a series of points. And we first say which points we want where, and then we draw our line. So we've begun our path. We do context.moveTo, which says where we want our point to be. We want our point to be at 100 pixels across, 100 pixels down. Then we want to draw a line from this point to, let's go 200 pixels across, but still 100 pixels down. Then we do context.strokeStyle to set the color that we want our line to be. In this case, let's do a random color selection. And then to make the line come up, we do context.stroke. And there we go, we've got our yellow line coming up exactly where we said it should be. Using this method, you could make complex lines that bend and go in different directions. And by bend, I more mean they'll have corners. So say we'll move to here, then we'll do a line to here, then we'll move to where that line has been drawn to draw a new line. And there we go, we've got our line there, moving from one point to the next. Because I didn't define a stroke style, it's come out in black. I'll also share with you a few links to some further reading that go into a little bit more detail if you are interested in exploring the Canvas element further, if it's inspired you. First one is this lovely tutorial on using text in the Canvas element on sitepoint.com, and that goes through all the specifics of adding text and styling it. That's at sitepoint.com/text canvas element introduction. And the final one is on the Mozilla Developer Network. They've also got a nice tutorial here where you can learn how to do transformations. This one's one of the more complicated bits of changing how all the elements get placed onto the canvas. So if you're interested in getting really into Canvas and what it can do. Animations, if you're interested in animations. So there's a lot that's possible. My stuff was the absolute bare basics, but now that you know this, you can start hacking away at Canvas, use it for a whole ton of stuff. It uses JavaScript, so hook up JavaScript APIs, go wild, and start drawing in your HTML5 websites.